Lights, camera, action. Very, very cool to be here. Well, right into actually the fourth season. Tremendous honor, right, to be here. Total honor, right, to actually be able to perform, extrapolate, talk a little bit about some of the things that we're going to be talking about. And again, all right, you guys are right, have reached Jeff Indyke. I hope, right, that's who you were expecting. And that's always a good thing. And it's a Jeff Indyke Drum Education Show. Remember the Howdy Doody time? It's a Jeff Indyke Drum Education Show time. That'd be kind of cool. Probably not, though. But real cool to be here. And now I want to talk a little bit, all right. First off, all right, I want to tell you guys, right, this is a tremendous honor, right, to actually be doing these next files. Now, these next files, all right, are something, all right, that I've been practicing for a long time to do. I don't know exactly, right, how I'm going to pull these off, but there are two things this season that are going to be awesome, all right. So the thing I'm working on today, the thing, right, I'm going to actually be doing, all right, in the next, all right, couple of files. First of all, I want to tell you guys, all right, if you're interested, all right, in show schedules, any ideas, all right, that you have, all right, about future shows. In fact, all right, this season is basically built off of a couple of things, right, that a few of you guys wrote in on, and there's some cool surprises. You guys, all right, can feel free, right, to call me. Of course, at 516-263-9782. It's really great. I've spoken to so many great supporters, all right, from the area, and it's been a real blast, all right, talking to guys. I even ran into a couple of old guys, all right, that I played with years back. So it was a nice reunion. Telephone reunions are kind of cool. And another place, all right, you guys, all right, can find me at is up at drumradio.com. I do a feature called Bonham's Up, though today we're not talking about Bonham. I may talk a little bit about him. And of course, all right, if you like emailing me, Dan Britt actually has helped me, all right, with setting up an email account. I don't see too well anymore, but if you guys, right, want to email me, the drumprofessor@gmail.com. It's kind of cool, and you can send me some of your thoughts and ideas. The Dan Britt files I want to talk about, and it's an honor, right, to actually have been able to do this. Years back, right, and I got to tell you, right, how this actually came about during, right, my course. This goes back, I guess, about 10, 15 years when I studied, right, over at Nassau Community College. Part, right, of my education, part of my grade, actually, right, in the percussion, was as to coach, to volunteer, right, to coach and correspond, right, with different guys out of the area with some of the principles, right, that I have written, because I've always written a lot of musical type things. And Dan Britt, right, was one of those guys, all right, who through a friend, I was able to correspond. And he was actually at that time, all right, probably I guess around 15, 16 years old. And as part of my grade, I had to put together these sort of, all right, segments, all right, of my ideas and send them to him and have him, all right, kind of practice along to them and then send back, right, his comments. And years later, this is really, really a cool thing. Dan actually has become, all right, an educator himself, and this is so cool. He did a thing, all right, called the 60-second system, and the 60-second system, all right, were these 60-second ideas which he actually recorded, and I'm responding to those ideas. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how he introduced them, all right, in his segment, and then sort of my response to it. So it's a sub-reaction, and I think the whole idea of what this is going to be totally awesome. And fun thing, right, is the ideas, right, that I've chosen that Dan did are things, right, that I've kind of done. And Dan, right, even mentioned to me that he took a couple of things from some of the things, right, that I had originally sent to him. So how awesome is that? I mean, you kind of go back in time. So that's a story, and I'll tell it once, and time to go to work. The first reaction is actually the Mozambique. Now, Steve Gadd, right, was the first guy, right, to do this, and I did it, right, in a couple of places, actually on the Steve Gadd file. The way that Dan did it was a little different, though. The way that Dan did it was with the snare actually on the one. So it's interesting, the way that he actually presented, and this is, right, written right off, right, of what I took. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down. Now, the wild part right about this is when you do it a couple of times, 1 as the bumper, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, What I want to do is I want to actually fragment this. Now, once you guys are right, I'm going to do it in a completely different way, all right, than the actual cowbell Mozambique sort of feel. So I'm going to give you guys, all right, what is commonly known as a fragmentation of the idea. The first thing that I want to do is I want to take the 1 1 and 2 and da. And I want to actually take that da. Back that up right with kick. Now I did, by the way, a segment like this in the GAT file, but it wasn't quite this way. Here I'm in a fragment, so this should be a little different than what you guys caught in the first season. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 3. It's a space, all right, that's interesting because you guys out there, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and that's where you have to kind of play. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's totally interesting. I think, right, the way, right, that I'm doing this is nothing to do, right, with the Mozambique. This is going to be cool because there's so many fragments to this idea that are awesome, and that's the right what I'm going to specialize in, all right, I think, right, in my first sub-reaction for today. Now, the next level, which is really interesting, is if you guys have been following, all right, over the years, you know that 1 and 2. Well, actually, not over the years, just over the last couple of seasons, right? I've attacked the right for E's, the attack of the E, of 3. 1 and 2. By the way, I want to say that if you guys are having any kind of conflict with the sticking, feel free to use what you feel comfortable with. But what I do is 1, right, left, right, right, left, right. By the way, I'll do the rest of it as written. 1, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. That's actually how it sticks. But some guys can play backwards. I'm not going to do that. But I will talk about some interesting reorchestrations, though, which I'll get to a little bit later. So that, you get that. It's like just a big stick and throw pattern, but there's a lot more built into it than just the standard stick and throw. Now, back right to that E of 3. 1 and 2. My next most enjoyable place, all right, to come back is on the 4th beat. But the wild part, all right, about what I'm going to seminar on today is first, all right, I'm going to do like a 4 da, sort of like a dot. How about E and da 4? Don't adjust, all right, your television set. I actually, all right, molecularize that each time, all right, by adding, all right, an extra beat before I actually return. The first time, all right, I think, all right, I got lost, but I didn't really get lost. I just relaxed and added an extra beat and then came back, and then I just figured, all right, I'd stay with that.